Hey guys, happy Thanksgiving. Sorry about the light in the back there. It's not normally this dark when I get off work, but we do have a storm going on, so trying to give you a little bit of light. Today, let's talk. I'm going to talk a little bit about 1 month post Corona. I've now been without Corona for 1 month. Monday, I will go and donate my plasma to the American Red Cross and figure out. Hopefully, they give me my count, of antibodies. I'd like to know my count. Anyways, excuse me. Let's just kind of break it down. From day one till today, post Corona, I went back to work. The day after Halloween, I was cleared about 3 days before Halloween to go to work, which is October 31st, of course. And then because it was a Saturday, or however the schedule works out, I went back to work on a Monday. In any case, I went back to work on a Monday, and that first day, the day before I went back to work, for whatever reason, I could not pee. Now, it could be due to the steroids that I was on. I was on steroids, among other medications, due to treatment. But I just could not pee. I just felt like I was holding on to a bunch of fluid. I kept eating this like I just couldn't get full, but I couldn't pee either. I don't believe that was Corona related. I believe that was related to the medications. Finally, when I went back to work, I could finally pee. That really only happened one day for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. I believe it was due to the steroids. I just believe that my body probably doesn't like steroids very much. So, starting from day one, I couldn't pee. I also felt, and I've read about this, the brain fog, the confusion. I don't feel like I was very confused. I know a lot of people are saying that they're losing vocabulary. I've always been pretty bad with vocabulary, believe it or not. I try to use bigger words than my mind can process, and it gets me in trouble from time to time. I've been very bad with vocabulary since day one, and it could be related to dyslexia, not necessarily the COVID. But I will say I was dizzy and forgetful. I felt like I just couldn't get my mind right. I just felt forgetful in things, and it was definitely, it felt like the dizziness part of it, or the brain fog. It felt like if you go down the road in a car and you just roll down one of the back windows, like that far, and that sort of depressurized feeling. That's kind of how it felt. Is the best way I can describe it. I felt like I was just trapped in that sort of pressurized feeling when you roll a window down in the back of a car. It was a strange feeling. Now, I did have my taste and my smell. That was back post COVID. That was back probably about a week into COVID. But that was the first thing I lost, was my taste. Anyways, I definitely felt that sort of brain fog for quite a little while, and I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't confused. I felt like my intelligence, what little bit I do have, was still there. I never felt, very less smart, I'll say. I did question myself on quite a few different things. One time I had asked for chicken, and I got shrimp for supper, and I thought, no, I really remember asking for chicken, and I did ask for chicken. I confirmed later with other people. But I got the shrimp, and I was like, oh, am I really going crazy from this COVID? This was post-COVID, of course. But it ended up not being my fault. But I definitely felt like, maybe I messed up. Maybe I said shrimp, but I meant chicken. In my brain, I got my words mixed up. So I definitely felt like that. Another feeling I felt was paranoia, especially in the very beginning. I don't feel that way anymore, and I can't really explain what exactly made me feel paranoid. I did feel paranoia, towards the very beginning of coming back to work, coming back to normal. I felt paranoia. I kind of avoided a lot of people and didn't really want to talk to nobody, and I really shied away. That kind of went away after about 2 weeks. It took about 2 weeks, but every day was better. It wasn't, I wasn't paranoid the exact same for 2 whole weeks. I believe I'd have gone crazy. My anxiety level, however, kind of stayed the same, but it wasn't as bad as my paranoia. It's like I would be paranoid, but then I would just tell myself, don't be paranoid, because you're not actually, whatever you think's going on actually isn't going on. And so I could tell myself that, but it's like I couldn't believe it. And so it wasn't as bad, and I guess it helped with my anxiety a little bit. I'm not 100%, but I never really got real bad anxious. I was definitely paranoid. And I believe with the paranoia became, or beget anger. I was definitely quicker to anger, get upset quicker with the COVID or post-COVID. That sort of subsided. I'm not as quick to anger as I was. Definitely, 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, however far back you want to go. And that could also be due to the steroids. Again, I don't know if it was the meds or if it was the COVID. But I was definitely quick to anger. I definitely had the paranoia, and I'm not going to blame the steroids for the paranoia. I'm sure that was sort of that brain fog, post-COVID mess that I had going on. But that's fairly well gone now. I don't have any more, or that I've noticed in the last at least week, any paranoia. Like I said, the anxiety, it was there, but it was nowhere near as bad as the paranoia. As strange as that sounds, I understand. Day to day, like going back to work and doing things day to day, I felt slow. I did not feel like I could just get my stride. I don't know if I was slow, but I definitely felt a lot slower. I definitely felt like I was taking my time to do things. No one ever really asked me about it, so I don't know if I was slow or if it was just how I felt. And that could be due to me not being there for 2 weeks, or maybe the fact that I wasn't there for 2 weeks. People forgot the pace that I went at. I don't really know. But I definitely felt really slow at work. I don't feel that way anymore. And I do feel that cognitively, I feel that I've come back 100%. I think the paranoia probably lasted the longest, and that was about 2 weeks. That sort of depressurized feeling that I felt, that I was talking about, the window down in the back of the car, that was about 4 days post-COVID. So I was back to work for like 4 days before that went away, back to normal and everything. Excuse me. I was dizzy in the very beginning. That really only lasted for about 2 days. I was definitely dizzy. It was strange. It is what it is. Let's talk about something that I don't know anybody else has ever talked about: the COVID shun. You're getting shunned for having COVID. You talk to your peers or your friends or whoever it may be, and they're still acting the same way. They're probably not wearing masks. They're standing right beside each other, drinking their coffee, eating their breakfast, whatever they're doing. And when you walk by, it's like they turn their back on you because you had the COVID. It's like, oh yeah, I had the COVID, but you're doing everything, not to prevent it. I see you guys standing right beside each other, chit-chatting along, and then you turn your back when I walk by because I'm post-COVID, and so definitely there was sort of like a COVID shun going on for sure. And I don't understand why, because it's like they saw that I got the COVID and then didn't really take any further steps to really help themselves. It's like, maybe I would do the same thing. I don't know. I'm on the other side of the fence, but you would think that you'd be like, oh, well, Chris definitely got the COVID. We saw him have the COVID. We saw his test results. Maybe we should take steps to not get the COVID, but yet they don't want to, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. My light just went out. But so there was definitely a COVID shun. And I'm not sure, now that I'm a month out, I haven't felt the COVID shun anymore. But I don't know if that's due to being a month out and people kind of sort of forgotten that I had it. I don't know, but I haven't been shunned anymore. But it definitely existed right there in the very beginning, that COVID shun. And I haven't really heard anybody talk about that. And that's really kind of the best way I can describe it is, because I got it, it was like I had cooties, when you're in school and boys got cooties, girls got cooties, and so you try to stay away from the cooties. It was like that, even though I was post-COVID, and was no longer contagious or anything. It was just like I was a virus, and so people would not really come around me. My director told me, don't tell any patients that you had the COVID, and I can see why. She told me that, and it was probably due to the fact that the patients would shun me as well. But now that it's a month later, I've kind of started telling, more and more people that I did have it. I feel, now that it's all the way gone, I feel that it's all the way gone. I feel more more not subconscious about it. I feel like I can talk to people about it more. That it's been a month. Maybe I still get a little bit of shun because I did have it. I don't know. We'll see. But as far as respiratory goes, I feel back to normal. I know that the leaves are changing here. So, my allergies are kind of showing up. I do feel that I've coughed a little bit more, but I don't know if that is allergy related. I know we've had a lot of storms here lately in my area, so I don't know if that's related to that. I don't think it's related to the COVID, but I could be wrong. I haven't been to anybody to listen to me, as far as listen to my lung sounds, but I don't really know if it's related to allergies or not. I feel 100%. I definitely don't feel that I have any respiratory symptoms that have hung around. When I had the COVID, I felt like I was in a vice, like I was just stuck, and I couldn't, my lungs would not expand. I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like I can take, complete deep breaths and breathe all the way out and not feel short of breath. In the very beginning, and it could be due to me not, my inactivity, when I went back to work, I would lose my breath a little bit towards the end of the day. And I don't know if that was due to inactivity while I had the COVID or if it is related to the COVID. But that has subsided as well. I don't have the short of breath anymore. But I feel like I'm going to do another one of these 6 months post-COVID, and then maybe a year post-COVID to see if, maybe there's something going on that I've neglected to think about at this point in time, or maybe, something that is going on that continues at 6 months that I'm not thinking about at this moment in time. So that is me 1 month post-COVID. I hope it helps. Thank you much.